Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Cat's Corner. And I'm sitting here with one of my good friends, Allan Funk or Rooster, or whatever you want to call it. Do you like Kwee Wee, Allan Funk? I mean, I know now you're not doing much wrestling, but Allan, listen, they did not know too much about you. I did. And not even I in WCW. But I knew how hard you worked. I knew you worked very, very hard to get in, not just get in, but just to get a gimmick. For someone to say, okay, let's give him this gimmick, that means you had to work your butt off because you, first of all, you came through the WCW power plant.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like 1996, right?
I came July of 98, I came through the power plant.
Okay, of 98?
Yeah, but I did before that, I did independents like in Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania. When I came in the power plant, I never wanted to tell anybody I had experience doing indies and stuff because I thought at the time it would get me treated different. So I wanted to prove myself as a new guy coming in the door and try to go from there because I wasn't smart to the business. I didn't know anything. And I thought that was the best route I could take. Looking back on it, I might have changed a few things, but I did what I did, and that was the reason I'd done that.
So let me ask you this question. Why did you take the route? Why did you go through the power plant? How did you get into it? How did you even get into the power plant?
Well, I mean, me and my ex-wife, the girlfriend at the time, we'd sit around watching the Monday Night Wars like everybody else did. And, if I said I wasn't a mark for wrestling, I'd be lying. Of course I was a mark. I always wanted to do it. And to be honest with you, Ernest, I didn't have a clue. I came from a small town in Ohio, Alliance, Ohio, which not too many people know where that's at. It's 20 minutes east of Canton, but it's a real small town, and I didn't have the resources. I grew up kind of poor. We didn't have any money, so I didn't know any other route to take other than I saw these commercials on when we were watching WCW Monday Nitro. The power plant with the big boys train is where the big boys play. So I'm thinking, watching the wrestling from hindsight, WCW is one of the two biggest companies in the world. You can't go wrong with, WWE or WCW. So the only route I knew how to take was seeing these commercials. So I called the WCW power plant and, talked to Brenda on the phone, which you probably remember Brenda from the power plant. Then I set up my 3-day tryout, which, as well as anybody, Ernest, those were the 3 most brutal days of anybody's wrestling career trying to get in the wrestling business, which was the hardest route I probably could have took. But, I grew up in a blue-collar family. My dad was a hard worker. He instilled that in me, and honestly, I wouldn't have wanted to go any other route.
We're Resite. Of course, we offer all-inclusive site work. We're Resite. Of course, we have a dynamic site crew. We're Resite. We have secure foundations. We're Resite. Of course, we're good stewards. Resite redefines the way site work is done. Contact us at resite.com. It's re-site.com.
Well, just getting into the power plant had to be difficult. Especially if you didn't have anybody behind you pushing you. Like when I got in the power plant, Eric Bischoff sent me down there.
Yeah.
Said, okay, this is my guy. I want you guys to get him ready. But if you were just somebody just trying to get into the business and you took that route, man, they were brutal on you down at the power plant.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I've told the story a million times, man. People will never understand. And guys that went through this power plant and the dropout rate in the power plant was ridiculous. I mean, very few people made it through the power plant, let alone like me, Chuck Palumbo, Mike Sanders, Jindrak, Reno, Rick Cornell, Elix Skipper. Guys that actually made it through the power plant was one thing, but if you made it through the power plant and actually got on TV with a spot, there was nothing given to you. Hey. And people could say I'm full of crap because I went through it or whatever, and I embellished the truth a little bit. But let me tell you something. It was the hardest route you possibly could have took to get in wrestling. And, you know, when I went through the power plant, Pistol Pez was in there. You know, Sarge and Jody Hamilton was in charge of the power plant. But shortly after I got in the power plant, I did my 3-day tryout. That's when Paul Orndorff came in and kind of took it over. And then we moved to the new offices down on Log Cabin Drive, which was the corporate offices of WCW, which then it was totally different. But, well, not totally different, but it was a little different than what it was at the old power plant on Carroll Drive from what you remember. That's probably where you started, I believe, on Carroll Drive in that little warehouse that was freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, hot.
Dude, cockroaches, you know, just shit crawling on the floors. Like, people don't understand. When I first went to this place, I went the night before my tryout, so I knew where I was going in the morning. And I pull into this damn parking lot, Ernest, and you probably thought the same thing when you first seen this. You just think this is a multi-million-dollar company, one of the top, and you're thinking this is where the tryout is. Like, I got to be in the wrong spot. I mean, right? That's a pretty accurate description, right?
Bro, listen, they were paying guys a lot of money just to go in this little hot box and train.
Yeah,
and it was terrible.
None of us they were paying.
And Stars, I mean, with me, they actually started to pay me to go to school, to go through that camp. But Sarge, man, once you got down there, Sergeant didn't give a crap about who you were. They worked the heck out of you. Now, you had some guys, I think they paid their own way to go through the power plant too.
Yeah, most of the guys down there did.
And they couldn't even make it. Some of them didn't make it. I can call you a few names. I can call out a few names of guys that came to the power plant and didn't make it. One of the toughest guys I ever saw in the business now, he did end up in the business some sort of way. It was Bob Sapp.
Oh, yeah, Bob Sapp. Yeah, but he already had a deal coming into the new power plant, though.
Yeah, but he couldn't make the power plant. He never got a deal on TV.
And I'll be honest with you, I love Bob Sapp dead, man. Always a straight, shooter. Was a good guy. Always nice to me. Nothing bad to say about Bob Sapp. And then he, of course, he made it big in Japan and stuff afterwards. But you're right, power plant. I can tell you a quick Bob Sapp story. When he was in the new power plant on Log Cabin Drive, which was the corporate offices where they moved from Carroll Drive. He was in there training with us, and Bob Sapp's a big boy, and he's not used to this kind of abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, like getting yelled at, called names, freaking, do this, do that. That some guys can't adapt to that kind of, of course, Sarge being everybody thought he was a drill instructor, that kind of training, which I respond well to that because I love proving people wrong, and I like people thinking that they're tougher than me, and I prove them wrong on that too, which I did down there several times. And Bob Sapp, one time we were training, doing this and that, and of course Bob didn't really have to do what we did. Now Sarge tried to get him to do the things we did, but he was already coming in the door making however many hundreds of thousands of dollars he was making, and at the time we still weren't making crap. We, like me and Chuck and Jindrak and all these guys, we were making money, but not great money.
Hold up, the name you just called, I think they called them. Did they end up being the Young Bloods?
The Natural Born Thrillers, all those.
The Natural Born Thrillers. All you guys was like my favorites. And I'm gonna tell you why, because I know how hard you guys have worked to get through the power plant, and now here you guys coming into WCW with spots. Yeah. And when I said with a spot, I mean you guys came in and you guys were taking over because the millionaires, the so-called top guys, didn't want to work for, I think, Vince Russo. Was it Russo in charge there? Yeah,
Russo, and then that's when Bischoff came in later.
Yeah. So you guys came in working your butt off. You guys worked through the power plant.
Yeah. Did all the stuff over in Nashville, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights.
Oh, yeah.
Come back, and then we did the Saturday night shows and stuff. But correct me if I'm wrong. You remember when we first started doing the Saturday night stuff? And first, before we start off, Ernest, I always want to thank you, man, for being for being a good established guy in WCW. You were always so cool to us guys down at the power plant, man. And back then, we might not have appreciated it as much, or we did and didn't tell you, but I do appreciate your friendship over the years. And I appreciate you always being really cool to me. I'm going to talk for myself because nobody else is here, but you you were always cool with us, man, and I do appreciate that. And you still are today. And thanks for having me on your podcast.
Hey, bro, you don't have to kiss my ass, but it felt good. If you want to do it again later on during this interview, please feel free to do so.
Yeah, come on, I'll never kiss your butt, Ernest. But I give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you guys worked out. Now, that was the early part of your career.
Yeah.
And I saw how you handled those situations. When I said those situations, every day was a situation.
Every day. Our jobs were threatened every day, whether people realize that or not.
They don't want nothing promised to you in the wrestling world, especially at the level that you came in on. Yeah. Now, this is what I want to ask you. And I want to I've been thinking about how to ask you this, how to put it together. But how did you get from the power plant to the TV to actually earning a spot? Who was the person to come down and say, make that decision for you? Or how did it come about?
Well, there was a couple different ways, actually. The first time that I did any TV for WCW was a Saturday night show. And you remember on Wednesday night, they would record 2 weeks. So you'd be there all day doing 2-3 matches, or, they'd have you, well, usually 2 matches. Because if you wanted to be on the Saturday night 2 weeks in a row, you had to do 2 matches, because one was for the week coming up and then one was for the following week. So I remember Kid Romeo, which, and I've told this story before, and I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing, but I'm really good friends with Sam Roman from this day. And, I love him like a brother. All the guys at the power plant were all like brothers still. And I actually just talked to Chuck Plumbo yesterday. But, so me and Sam Roman were always good buddies in the power plant, because we knew the talent each one of us had. So he always liked working with me, because I was a hell of a heel back then. And he loved working with me because, of course, with Kid Romeo, he's got to get his shit in. And I was one of the guys that helped him get his shit in, but now he let me get my shit in too. And so he loved working with me because we worked well together and we understood each other. And a lot of guys didn't understand that about Sam was, of course he was trying to get over. Yeah, but so was I. So we helped each other out. Right. So he became friends with Kevin Nash and a few of these guys like Kevin Sullivan and stuff because, and he knows I've told this story, he used to help, he would give them gimmicks. When I say gimmicks, you know what I'm talking about, and that's all I'll say. I'm not going to tell these fans or whatever what I want to say, but
hey, but listen. I mean, that's how it was. Some guys came in and they were willing to give. I don't know how they get the supply, but all you had to do is give the guys sleeping pills, soma, and stuff like that. And if they allow you into their little society. You're right.
Yeah. So, and that's how Kid Romeo kind of got his foot in the door. So Kevin Nash still, I think, had something to do with booking at this point. So he came down to the power plant one day because he was in the office. So we walked in, the power plant, and Kid Romeo talked him into coming down and looking at me and him do a little, spot in the ring and see if he wanted to put us on the Saturday night show. So he come in, watched us do some stuff, and that's the first time I ever started becoming friends with Kevin. And later on, I actually became a lot better friends with Kevin for a lot of different reasons. But so that's the first time Kevin saw me and what I could do.
Kevin who? Kevin Nash?
Kevin Nash. Yeah. No, Kevin Nash. So so Nash comes in there. He liked what we had to show him in the power plant. So that following week, we were booked on the Wednesday night, and me and Kid Romeo wrestled 2 matches, and that's where we started our Saturday night spots.
Well, listen, let me, Sam was a good worker.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
Good worker. Now, being trained by Sarge and Jody and who else was that?
Mike Pez Watley.
And Pez Watley. How did you come up with some of the gimmicks you had?
Well, see, what I always wanted to do, Ernest, man, and I wish I could have done this. I always considered myself to be a wrestler, like a cross between Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, guys like that. And to me, man, I thought I was great, man, because you got to have a confidence in your ability. And I was athletic. My body always was on point, and I really thought I had something to offer, which I did, but I just never got. I never got to do anything that I wanted to do. So me and Mike Sanders was doing the gimmick where I was angry Allan Funk, which I love that gimmick. And actually, the last time me and you worked together, I was angry Allan Funk, and you thought it was pretty good, right?
It was funny. Yeah, good one.
So I could get some heat with the crowd, you know, and so that's what I always wanted to do. And then me and Mike Sanders, I don't know if you remember this, but we were the double A team. Do you remember when we used to come out and do this? And he had his hair dyed blonde, and he was he was above average, and I was angry Allan, so double A team. So we kind of done a spinoff with Arn Anderson. And the first time we ever wanted to do this gimmick, we were in Knoxville, Tennessee, doing the Saturday night. It was actually a worldwide, I think it was. So me and him, we had this thing set up, and we didn't want to tell anybody because we didn't want to get it kiboshed. And this was the only time that we ever did anything on our own and didn't get in trouble for it. So me and him had this gimmick set up where we're the double A team, and I'm going to do a promo. I got the mic, so we did a promo. And I was on there saying, you know, I'm Angry Allan. This is average Mike Sanders, above average Mike Sanders. We're the double A team. And it only took 2 of us to do what it took 4 of you to do, and we didn't even need a horse. So that was our gimmick, and they let us actually say that on the worldwide in the Saturday night shows. So then we were putting guys over like Jindrak and O'Hare, which you know, and guys like that they were trying to make, you know, up and coming stars. So you know, we did our jobs, and you know, I was always told if you were a good jobber in this business, you'd always have a job for life, which unfortunately the business kind of changed when we got into it, so that wasn't the case. But so you know, we did stuff on the Saturday nights and this and that, but I remember I used to wear my hair spiked up, so it started getting longer and longer, and I didn't cut it. So me and Mike Sanders were going through an airport in West Virginia, and Terry Taylor and Vince Russo was sitting there at the gate. So we walked past him, said hey to him, whatever, and then Vince Russo's like, hey man, I might have an idea for you. So that's kind of where the Kwee Wee started. He told me to watch
who?
Vince Russo.
And what, Kwee Wee?
Well, he goes, I might have a gimmick for you. I got an idea for you. He goes, do me a favor, go to the VHS store and buy a tape of this Mango character that was on Saturday Night Live. Chris Kattan did this Mango character. So I went to the video store, and I bought this VHS tape with this character on it. So he wanted me to watch it. And then Nitro, he said, come talk to him. So I went at Nitro and talked to him about the character that I watched, and he was asking me what I thought about it. And then, you know, I didn't really have an opinion about it, but I was willing to do whatever because, you know, like you said, man, you know, I appreciate you telling everybody that I worked hard, because all of us at the power plant, you know, like I said, our jobs were threatened every day. And if we didn't do, you know, if we didn't go above and beyond every day, we probably would have lost our jobs. And you know, we worked hard to get where we were. Nothing was given to us. And so that's where the Kwee Wee character come alive. He was showing me this, and he wanted me to do this. And then he come up. My name was Kiwi at first. And then when I started doing it, we did the pre-tapes backstage with the, I always had the hot chicks with the big boobs because they didn't want me to get any gay chance.
Wait a minute. You sure you want to talk about this gimmick?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because it was part of my you know, WCW run, man.
It was a great gimmick. You played it well. It was fun, entertaining. I enjoyed watching you guys out there, especially when you were with Paisley.
Oh yeah, me and Paisley worked well together. She was awesome to work with.
And now, I mean, do you guys still talk to each other, having a conversation with each other? Paisley, by the way, people don't know, that's Booker T's wife.
Yeah, Charmel,
yes.
Yeah, WWE Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Some people don't give her credit for it, but you know, she deserves it because she worked hard in the wrestling business, man. She wasn't handed anything, you know.
And well, now going back to that Kwee Wee character.
Now I didn't have Paisley at first though.
How did you? Now Vince Russo, he came up with this idea, right?
Yeah, Vince Russo, that's right.
And he came up with this idea just watching you walk through the airport with your hair stacked up. He looked at you and say, "Hey, I got a character for you."
Yeah. Plus, he knew who I was anyway, and he knew I was a hard worker and I was a good worker. So, you know. Yeah,
but wasn't that character a little?
Well, here's the deal, Kat. Now they give me this character, and they kind of set me up for failure.
I know.
Which is why it was more impressive that I was actually getting it over.
Exactly.
So people don't give me credit for what I deserve, man. You know, all these marks are going to say, this guy was, his character sucked, and he wasn't worth a shit, and that's why he never got nowhere in the business and this and that, which drives me nuts, because you know how hard we worked out the power plant, and it was my whole life, bro. That's all I ever wanted to do, and I'm thankful for the spot that I got. Unfortunately, it didn't last as long as I wanted it to, but man, I worked hard to try to make that character work, man, because that's all they give me, and that's what I was going to work with, and that's what I wanted to make successful. So
you think you got that character just because they wanted you to fail?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the character they presented to me was setting me up for failure, because when they give me this character, they said, we're going to give this character, and this is what we want you to do. But if you get any gay chance or any of this type of stuff, you're going to get pulled from TV. So with that character, I mean, I had to do something that wasn't going to get these gay chants. I had to try to make the people like the character, which I thought I did a good job of for not really wanting to do it. But I didn't really have a choice. People don't understand this. They think, that he's doing his characters. That's what he wants to do. Well, you know what? I wish that was the case, but I didn't have a choice, really. So, first of all, they give me this character, you remember BB in WWE, Kathy Dingman?
Yeah.
Big boobs. So she was my first valet. Well, she was engaged to Bob Holly at the time, and it never worked out because Bob Holly was so jealous of her coming to WCW that he wouldn't let her talk to nobody, or she wasn't allowed to come out of the locker room or this and that. So I couldn't become like I couldn't gel with her like I needed to spend time with her and try to work our chemistry and stuff, because she was never around. She was always in the locker room, afraid to come out. So then she was short-lived, a few episodes. So Mark Madden brought the stripper from Pittsburgh, and she was with me again. They called her Papaya. So, which, nothing with my character was ever set in stone. It was just kind of thrown together. Every week to week, I never knew what was going to happen, Kat, which is another reason why it was more impressive that it actually started getting over. So then finally they give me Paisley, which was the best thing they could have done. Paisley was perfect for the gimmick with me. She worked with Prince Ikea Mike, which was a great dude. And I actually started a program with Mike, which was Prince Ikea. And man, we were blowing the roof off matches and having great matches. And then he got, for whatever reason, he wasn't there anymore. And then, but they did keep Paisley with me, and which kind of evolved my character, and which was a good fit for me.
Well, so how did you feel about that character? Because I always thought that character was more a runoff, like of Prince.
Of what?
Prince.
Oh, Prince. Yeah, it was kind of weird at that time, because Prince was actually, and I'm not really sure where his gimmick was going, because personally, I knew Mike, and that really wasn't his character, acting. And it's really not my character either, but I guess you try to make things work, because if that's what they're giving you, that's what you got to work with, right? So, I guess he was in the same situation I was. And Mike was a great guy to work with. I don't know if you ever got a chance to work with him.
Oh, Mike was the first guy I worked with on the road.
He was professional, and he didn't really take shit from nobody. And he was, you knew what you were getting with Mike. That's why I liked about him, because he didn't try to sugarcoat anything. And if you got along with him, backstage, then you were going to have a good match with him.
Now, what was it? What was his character? What was his gimmick?
Well, he was Prince Ikea with the the Island Boy at first, and then he became the artist formerly known as Prince.
That's right.
And he was kind of you're right. It was kind of like the Kwee Wee character. He was kind of eccentric. You didn't know, he was kind of on the fence. You didn't really know, where he stood. You know what I mean? But Mike was a hell of a guy, dude, and he was a legit shooter in real life. And a lot of people probably didn't realize that.
So now, once you got into actually a spot, on the roster doing work, and who was one of your favorite to work with?
Well, I mean, me and Helix always had good chemistry, and we worked together a lot on pay-per-views and everything else, because we were both from the power plant, and we got a lot of time to train together.
And that's Helix Skipper, right?
Yeah, Helix Skipper when he was a Canadian. But I tell you, I like working with a lot of guys, Kat. I like working with you. I had a good match with Lance Storm.
Yes.
And like with Goldberg, for example, I knew when I wrestled Goldberg, it was going to be pretty much a squash match. But when I talked to Bill about this, and he recently talked about this on that Chris Van Vliet or whatever that kid's name is.
I think I remember hearing him bring up your name.
Yeah. So, which was cool because, when me and Bill did that spot, I don't care what anybody says, dude. That was the top spear of all time. And I'll have words with anybody that says otherwise. Because, dude, if you watch that spear that he gave me, I can guarantee you one thing, Kat. Bill tried to talk me out of doing that spear 10 times. And I bet you on any other spear he did, he didn't try to talk guys out of doing it. He knew he was going to hurt me. But you know what I told him? I said, Bill, I know it's going to hurt. I know you're probably going to hurt me. But I said, you train with me at the power plant. I'm not a pussy, and we're going to fucking do it because it's going to be the best spear ever. And when you do an interview, I want you to bring my name up for the best spear ever, which he just did a week ago. So that tells you it's been 24 years.
So tell me, subscribe. Just tell me about that moment. Tell me what that spear looked like. Describe me that.
Okay, so I used to do a move, if you remember my matches. I used to do a springboard off the second rope and do a flip into it. So the idea I had when I was wrestling Bill, I honestly didn't believe I was working with Bill that night on Nitro. Everybody's like, oh, you're working Goldberg tonight. And I said, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Why would I work Bill? Which nothing they did make sense a lot of times. But so I actually go on the board and I see me working Bill. And I was like, holy shit, I'm working Bill Goldberg. So at that point, that's a big deal for me at this point because I'm Allan Funk from Alliance, Ohio, dude. I'm working Bill Goldberg, which was over like Rover. So I'm thinking instantly when I knew it was real, I was thinking, what can I do special or what can I do to stand out for pretty much a squash match? So when Bill came out to the ring, I asked him to listen to what I had to say, which he did. And I said, check this out, dude. When you get in the ring, boom, 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 I'm going to get on you. And, of course, Bill, Bill, he's like, oh, kid, I'm not selling that shit. And I'm like, yeah, no kidding, Bill. I know that. So I said, but check this out, Bill. I said, when I get on you, I said, I'm going to do this springboard sunset flip. But I want you, when I springboard and turn around, I want you to come flying across the ring and hit me with a spear. So we timed it a couple times and did it. We didn't actually do the spear, but he just timed me off the ropes. And he was like, holy shit, bro. He goes, I'm going to fucking kill you. And I said, I know, Bill, but it's going to be awesome. So we did it a couple more times, and he was happy with the timing and stuff, but then he still refused to do it. He's like, I don't want to do it, bro. He goes, I'm going to kill you. So I said, screw it. We're doing it. We're doing it, Bill. Get the timing down. We're freaking doing it because this is my chance to have the best spear in the history of your spears, which means something, and that's what I want. So we did it a couple more times, and I finally talked him into doing it. So after the match, we did it. He fucking loved it. But one thing I told him, I said, Bill, listen, you do not have to pick me up for the jackhammer. Right? After this spear, bro, and he literally bruised my ribs, Cat. Like I was hurting. He hurt me. Mm-hmm. But I didn't care because I wanted to be part of that. So he asked in the match, of course, what's he do? Picks me up for the freaking jackhammer. I dead ass him, and I even say to him, what the hell are you doing? Because I told him, I said, bro, when you got a train run you over, you don't need to do anything else. What are you going to do after a train runs you over? Nothing. You know what I mean? But he jackhammered me and hurt me even worse, which was fine. So after the match, we go back to his locker room because, back then a few guys had their own separate locker rooms. And he was so freaking grateful that I did that. He was like, oh, man, he hugged me. He was like, if I ever get a chance to pay you back, I owe you a favor and blah, 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 So it was a good feeling, that he was happy with what we done for the 3 minutes that we got. So I was happy to be part of that, even though I got hurt.
Man, listen, you did a lot of great stuff in WCW. And but I want to ask you, after WCW, where did you go?
Okay, so WWE picked up most of our contracts that we, the guys from the power plant. So we went up to Cincinnati.
Now let me slow that down right there because I want you to kind of give us your point of view on a few things there. WWE did pick up a lot of people's contracts.
Yeah.
But do you think they picked up your contract because of your character development? Maybe you was a good fit for them? What did you think about that once you signed a contract? Go to WWE.
Well, here's the thing, Kit. You can speculate about a lot of things. Personally, I like to believe, somebody there talked to somebody and said, this kid's a good worker. He's got a good body. He's serious about the business and he wants a job. And I think they saw that. I hope they saw that. I hope they just didn't say, hey, listen, we'll just pick up these clowns. We'll weed out the ones we don't want. Blah, blah, blah. I don't really know which one that was, but I like to think it was, they picked me up because I was a hard worker. And to be honest with you, they knew who I was, because the first time I went to a WWE show, Triple H come up to me and I was going to, I stood up to go shake his hand. He actually was in crutches. That's after he just had his quad surgery. And he walks up to me and says, hey, Allan Funk, I'm like, oh man, like he knows my name. Like, somebody knows me. Triple H freaking knows me. You know what I mean? So he's like, hey, I just want to tell you, he shook my hand. It was great to meet you. I'm a big fan of your work. So, and that's why I say I think it was that reason, because, there were a few guys in WWE I met that knew who I was that I really didn't think they knew who I was. And so I'm hoping that was it. Because to me, when Triple H comes up to you and says he's a big fan of your work and he likes what you do in the ring, to me, that goes a long way coming from Triple H.
Now, who was running WWE up there then? I think it was Vince McMahon and
well, Johnny Ace had come over.
Johnny Ace, yes, Johnny Ace. Okay.
Johnny Laryngitis, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Johnny Ace was running things, and Johnny Ace was making a lot of the phone calls and stuff like this. So how did that go for you?
Yeah, so
once you started.
At the time, I was with one of your buddies working with him, Mike Sanders. His dad owned the record company. So me and Mike were actually still getting paid from WWE. And we were making an extra, $1,000 a week working for his dad's towing company, because we weren't doing anything else at the time. We were just in limbo. We didn't know what was going on. So I remember I was driving the tow truck. I get a call from Johnny Ace. So I'm going to answer that phone call. So I picked the phone up. And Johnny's like, hey, Allan, I got something to tell you. And he goes, you want the good news or the bad news? And I said, well, Johnny, I'll take the good news first. He goes, WWE's picking up your contract. You're going to be employed with WWE now going forward. And I said, great. And he goes, the bad news is you have a couple weeks to move up to Cincinnati. And I was like, a couple weeks? He goes, do whatever you got to do. You got to be up in Cincinnati in a couple weeks. And otherwise you won't have a job. So he goes, if you're married, you need to go home and tell your wife you're moving to Cincinnati and you don't have a choice. So, I had to go home and tell my wife that I was, picked up, and I had to find a way to get to Cincinnati and stay there for however long we needed to be there.
Wow. So once you got there, signed contract, once you got up there, how did things start to kind of work its way out? Where you ended up.
Yeah, to be honest with you, for all the guys that went up there, it was me, Mike Sanders, Kid Romeo, Elix Skipper, Shannon Moore, Jamie Noble, Lash LaRue, Rick Cornell, guys like that from the power plant. So we're all in the same boat. It was actually a little bit frustrating for us, man, because here we are, we're on TV, we're doing, a couple segments on Nitro, Thunder, we're on the Saturday night show. Everything's going good. Now we get bumped back down to kind of like the power plant training again. So it kind of takes the wind out of our sails, we're going back to where we got to be down at Les Thatcher School, 8 o'clock in the morning till 3, 4 in the afternoon, training like dogs again, So it was kind of a rough transition for us all.
So did they talk to you about maybe a gimmick or maybe developing something for you to give you a spot or get you a TV?
Here's the thing with that. Not really. So they had all these guys down there from the Memphis. They just, I guess they shut down the Memphis territory. So you had the Samoans, Umaga and Rosie, which was 3 second or 3 minute warning or whatever they were, Umaga, you had Lance Cade, which was a great talent. You had Steve, what was his name? Steve something. But you had all these guys that were mainstays doing the Memphis stuff, and I think they were doing TV. So And then we were kind of mixed in with the OVW guys, which was John Cena, Randy Orton, Batista, and all these guys. So the WCW guys kind of got pushed to the wayside. We were just down there training with these guys. And I've said this before, I think the main purpose of us getting jobs, looking back on it, was to help develop the guys that they already had there. I think they used the WCW guys with the experience on TV. Not that we had a lot of it, but we had more experience than they had. So looking back on it, Ernest, I think what they did was they had us working with these guys in their matches, local TV and OVW, with their guys, and making them better. And then as soon as we did that, they released us 2 weeks before Christmas that year, and they kept all the Memphis guys, they kept all the OVW guys, and got rid of all the WCW guys that were on.
And see, that's why I asked you before. Do you think they signed you from WCW? They signed you in the WWE because of your talent, or because they were obligated to sign you? And not saying that this don't have anything to do with how talented you are or how talented you're not. I think WWE had in that contract, once they purchased WCW, that they will have to sign or give everybody a trial that wanted to move up there. And they did it because they brought in a lot of WCW talents.
Yeah.
They brought in a lot of WCW talent, and they did nothing with them.
Yeah, nothing. With a lot of good talent too, man.
I mean, even with me, I ended up there for about 3 or 4 years. They gave me little jobs to do stuff to move around. But John Ace was the first person that called me and said, "Hey, we want you. Vince McMahon don't know this, but we want to bring you in." But once I got there, I saw the writing on the wall. Goldberg in and out, Buff Bagwell in and out, the Steiner, everybody from WCW was in and out, and I think that was just part of the deal. So that's what I was just saying when you went up there, man. And sorry, I think they should have used you more on TV because you're a talented guy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But here's the thing: is that's kind of like a 2-part question there. Initially, I was hoping it was for what I explained earlier, the talent, and people knew who I was. Hindsight, looking back on everything that happened, now explaining it to you, I think we were just brought in to try to help their talent and then to get rid of us. I believe that.
To get their talent over. You're right. Because when I got there, man, I'm not gonna call the guy name, but they paired me with a couple of guys, and you could tell by the reaction of the crowd. You know how you could tell. If you went to a house show and the crowd will tell you who's over and who's not over.
Oh yeah, definitely.
People don't understand that. If I went to a show and it was me and somebody else, of course the crowd gonna pop when they said my name, or the crowd gonna pop when they say his name. Well, I was with one of the stars just coming in, and the crowd was not behind this guy at all.
Yeah,
the crowd did not respond to him. He came out with that yo 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 yo, which it was kind of stale then.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he gave me the mic, the crowd popped because they remember the WCW days. Of course, we was only a year out, so but they put the burner under him, and he took off. They put him out there. So this is what I wanted to say to you. Once you left WWE, because I think you stayed there for 1 year, right?
Yeah, we was up there probably a little over a year doing all that. We did, and here's the thing I did like about it. I'm not ungrateful for the time I spent in WWE at all, because I became better friends with Eddie Guerrero, and Eddie Guerrero used to work with me. We used to go to dinner. We used to train together in the gym. He kind of put me under his wing, man. And, I got to spend a lot of time with Haku up there, Ming, Brian Adams, and guys like that. Hey,
bro, all of those guys was in WCW when you was in there.
Yeah. So I was friends with all them from WCW.
Yeah.
Which made it, and Steve Regal, Dave Taylor, all those kind of guys. So it was good, hanging out with those guys and working with them still on the house shows up there. I never got to do any TV other than local TV for WWE, but we did. I got to work Eddie Guerrero on house shows with Brian Adams. with all these guys. So it was a good experience because I got to keep doing what I like to do with the guys that I like. So it wasn't a horrible experience, but it was just frustrating,
But dude, this is how you can tell how good it was. Guess who's running most of the shows, the producer, up there right now at WWE? Guess who those guys are? They're guys from WCW. Jamie Noble.
Yeah, Jamie Noble, yeah.
James Hams, Norman Smiley. They still got a lot of these guys working behind the scene up there. I know Triple H is running the show, but you got Steven Regal. All these guys up there running the show. And these are guys who was around us. Yeah, they were helping us to perform. When you look at it, going from WCW to WWE is one thing I looked at that I really, really am proud of. I could say I worked in the 2 largest wrestling promotion ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There ain't no one could take that away from you.
No, nobody, WCW. But now you went a little further. You went on to work in a couple of other promotions. I mean, you worked in TNA, right?
Yeah, TNA. I worked in All Japan Pro Wrestling with Muta, and Kazuhashi and Kojima and
let's talk about TNA. How did you get in TNA?
Okay, so Jeff Jarrett, I was always good buddies with Jeff in WCW because I pretty much got along with most of the guys in WCW because I wasn't an asshole, and I treated people the way they needed to be treated, and they usually treated me just as good as I treated them. So I always got along with everybody. So Jeff calls me and says they got a gimmick for me. Me and Lenny Lane were partners. We were called the Rainbow Express, which is another gay gimmick, and this was a full-blown gay gimmick.
Whoa!
What?
Another gay gimmick?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Did they see you at the airport and decide we going to do this again?
I guess it was just Jeff knowing me from WCW, and his dad got this idea, and actually Jerry called me up and told me about what he wanted me to do and stuff. So he said I was going to be with Lenny Lane, which Lenny Lane's a great talent, and he was a good guy to work with, man. Me and Lenny got great chemistry, and I still talk to Lenny all the time now. So, so we were the Rainbow Express, Bruce and Lenny, and we actually had great matches, Kat. We wrestled.
You guys were hell of a talent. You guys could work.
Oh yeah, me and Lenny together were amazing. I mean, we wrestled AJ Styles, Jerry Lynn, Bagwell. We wrestled Apollo from Puerto Rico. We got to wrestle. We wrestled the Road Dogg, Brian James, Jarrett. I was his tag team partner a couple times. So I had a good time in TNA and stuff for the character that I was doing, and it was actually getting over. I won the Miss TNA crown, which is,
Whoa, wait a minute. What? You won what?
The Miss TNA because I was gay. So I actually was wrestling women and men, and I used to come out with a Miss TNA sash, and I wore a dress, which, because I was gay, I played a gay character, me and Lenny, and
hold up. Did somebody see you in the airport and come up with this too?
Dude, it was just Jerry and Jeff Jarrett together.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, I always get caught with these gimmicks, and, I kind of, like I said before.
Listen, I know you.
Yeah.
There's nothing feminine about you. I know that.
You're
a manly man, a tough beer drinking, boot wearing kind of cowboy guy. And they kept giving you these gimmicks.
Yeah. So, but you know what? You got to do what you got to do, Kat.
No. That's some crap right there.
Okay. So listen, in your
eyes. Hold on. Wait a minute. That's some stuff that Vince McMahon used to say. You got to do what you got to do to get ahead. That might have been your problem in WWE.
It might have been, but listen, I was never in a position, Kat, to kind of dictate. I mean, I'm not Goldberg. I wasn't even the Cat. I was never in a position where I could say, hey, this is what I want to do, or I'm done. I didn't have the privilege of, I'll just go to, I'll go to WWE and start making millions of dollars up there. I was never in that position. People don't understand this. I couldn't call the shots. I had to kind of do what I was given, and I had to make the best out of it. So, okay, so you tell me this, Kat, being Ernest the Cat Miller and looking on what I was doing, if you were in my shoes, what do you think my options were, honestly?
Listen, bro. I'm the host of this show. I ask the question. You don't ask me no damn question.
No, but I'm asking you as a friend.
I zip my lip on that right there. But let me tell you this right here.
Yes, sir.
Once you got out of TNA, did you do something with what is it, Glory something?
No, I did. I went to WWA, which was Andrew McManus from Australia.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
You and Stevie Ray were over there on a tour with me.
Yeah, Australia. That was a good one. Didn't last long, but it was a pretty good one.
Yeah. I made a little money with him.
But you reunited with Vince Russo a little later on, right?
No, I did an independent show for him. He did an independent show in a church, and I worked with him then. But guess what? He gave me another character that was gay. But I did do all Japan pro wrestling. But
maybe they try to tell you so. I don't know, bro.
Maybe they were. I don't know, Cat. But
I don't know, man. But how did you like working with Vince Russo?
Oh, I like Vince. People have their opinion of Vince Russo, but he helped me get my character in WCW and helped me get on TV and stuff, whether I liked it or not. I'm grateful for the opportunity to give me, and I don't have anything bad to say about Vince Russo.
Do you think he was the one to bring down WCW?
Honestly, I don't. Vince was a smart guy in the wrestling business. He might have done some stuff that people disagree with, but he did a lot of stuff that people agree with, even if you don't like him. So I have no insight on the inside job or this or that, or Vince Russo caused it. I don't. And if I knew, I'd tell you.
You like most people, we don't know what went down behind the scenes.
No, you don't.
Work. It was our job to work.
And you got your own opinions, or you might have seen, some people might have seen more than others, but I don't think Vince Russo was the one and only reason WCW folded.
Now let me ask you this: out of all the promotions you worked in, how did you get the Lucha Libre? How did you get there?
Yeah, so actually, Mark Jindrak, me and Mark Jindrak are pretty good friends, and we're still friends to this day. He was real big down in Mexico at one point, so these guys contacted him, this new company, the Lucha Libre USA, and again, they needed a kind of a gay character.
Whoa, bro, wait a minute. Let me ask you this. I want you to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm gonna edit this. I'm gonna cut it out if you
don't have to edit nothing.
I want to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Did anybody ever try you like that? Why they kept giving you all these different?
Yeah, no. I mean,
just that happened to be solved.
Dude, I'm 100% transparent. Nothing ever. I've never had no gay relations. I was married. I don't know how this happened or why it happened. It just happened, and it was a domino effect from the time I did Kwee Wee until the end of my career.
So do you think it was like a typecast?
Yeah, it kind of was. I do believe that. Yeah.
So that really happened in pro wrestling. They see your character, you get kind of passed that character throughout your career.
Yeah, it does happen. It's happened with other guys in the business, not just myself. But I think that's pretty good. That's a pretty accurate description of what happened. The typecasting.
So with if you had the opportunity to come up with your own character, your own gimmick.
Yes, sir.
Because you did a little. I know you did a little Hogan.
Yeah. Did
you do some? Yeah. Now, how did you come up with that gimmick? And by the way, Hogan did not like that too. You know that.
Oh, he didn't like it at all. Yeah, I used to, like I said, I became pretty good friends with Kevin Nash. So Kevin told me one day in the gym at Gold's Gym, we were training, and he told me, he goes, "Dude, Hogan does not like that shit at all." I said, "Well, you know what? I can't help it, bro." I was actually doing it in WWE. When I was up there with Les Thatcher at the HWA and OVW, I started doing it as a kind of just for something fun to do, because I wasn't happy where I was at in my career at that point, and a lot of us weren't up there because they weren't letting us do anything. They didn't give us anything. They didn't tell us anything. They were stringing us along, and I was just trying to have a little bit of fun, Cat, to be honest with you. So I grew my mustache. My hair was already long from spiking it up. So honestly, I could do Hulk Hogan better than Hulk Hogan can, and anybody that watched the gimmick can tell you that's the case. And it actually did one thing for me though. So me and Macho Man became really good friends over this gimmick because Macho Man did not like Hogan and vice versa. So I actually was in a lot of.
Do you really think that was the shoot while Hogan? Or did they just want to work together?
I will bet money on it. I knew Macho Man pretty well there for a while. Me and him hung out quite a bit, and I talked to Macho Man on the phone almost every day for a while.
So when did this occur? Because remember, they was on the same team in WCW with NWO. They used to ride together and everything.
Yeah. I think there was always something there from day one in WWE with their egos or whatever, this and that. But I really honestly believe there. I think what should have happened with this relationship between Hogan and Macho Man, like an old school relationship, like kids on a playground. You don't like each other, you get in a fight, you beat each other up, and then I think everything would have been fine. I think there was always that unknown, and I'm pretty sure Macho Man would have wiped the floor clean with Hogan. But I like them both. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, Macho Man.
Man, come on, man. Hogan was 6'6".
I don't care.
Macho Man 6'2", 6'3".
Macho Man was a legit shooter.
Oh, was he?
People were afraid of the Macho. I'm telling you right now. Macho Man, it would have been a no contest, Cat.
Macho Man was always really nice about his business.
Dude, he was the coolest dude ever, right?
Oh, every time he would see me, hey, Cat, man, how you doing? Just real nice every time. I just never saw him as a person who someone didn't get along with. He hated somebody. So
it was the egos.
Huh?
It was the egos, the jealousy, man. You know how that goes.
Man, listen, I mean, that kind of blew me away to know that they didn't really like each other. And I thought they were like the best of friends.
The only reason I tell you this, because me and Macho Man used to sit around and have, pretty intimate conversations, about all kinds of stuff. And I can tell you, he didn't like Triple H and he didn't like Hogan.
Wow.
I mean, he hated Triple H. He wanted to beat his ass so bad, it was like, I think if Triple H would have walked in the building, he would have beat his ass. Like he was really adamant about not liking Triple H. Trust me.
I wonder what happened there. The reason they worked together for a while.
Okay, so here's the thing with that.
Whoa! I think I remember something. But go ahead. Let's see if you.
Well, I don't really want to give all the details, but I will say
I'm gonna give some details.
It has something to do with Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, yes, that's it.
So, and he told me all those stories, bro. So, I'm not going to tell Macho Man's business because he's not here to defend himself.
No, but everybody know that. Everybody know he got the draws. But she was that's when she was young or something too.
That was years before Triple H came into picture.
Yeah, but was Triple H even dating Stephanie back then?
No, not that I know of.
Oh, so that might have not had anything to do with it. But I don't know why.
According to Macho Man, it did.
Oh yeah.
So. But whether it just brought up bad memories or whatever, I'm not going to say too much on it.
Yeah, but everybody know that story.
Yeah. So
Macho Man had sex with Stephanie.
All the smart marks know that, right?
Yeah, they already know that, man. But that was kind of strange. I didn't know they had bad blood between each other.
Yeah. So I became pretty good friends with Randy through Brian Adams. That's how I became friends with Randy, through Brian Adams. And, like I said, I used to talk to him on the phone every day, and he used to take care of me. He would fly me down there, he'd have a damn limousine waiting for me at my house to take me to the airport and then, back and forth. And he was always great to me, man.
Who, Macho Man, right?
Yeah, man. He was
Did you have to wear your Kwee Wee suit? Costume?
No, I was the funkster at that time. That's why I was in his music
that's
video.
Why he's like, yeah.
Because he was beating me up in his videos portraying Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yeah, for doing the Hogan stuff.
Yeah.
That's good. That is right.
So he loved it, man.
So now let me ask you this right here. On that day, that in WWE, when they release you,
Yeah.
how did you find out? Who was that person that come to you? Who made the call?
So Johnny Ace and a few of the other guys from WWE came down. I can't remember who all was involved. So we were all down at Les Thatcher School in Cincinnati, Ohio, the HWA. And all the, like I said, the Memphis guys were there. Like you remember Charlie and Russ Haas, Umaga and Rosie. All these guys were there. Steve Bradley, all the Memphis guys. So they're calling all like mostly WCW guys in the room. So they had Johnny Ace and a few other guys. I think Ricky Santana might have been there. So they pretty much are only calling the WCW guys in and releasing these guys. So we knew all the WCW guys were screwed that day. So it was my turn to go in the room. I go in the room, and Johnny Ace is putting me over like $1 million, telling me I'm a good talent. I'm a great worker. My body's always good. He's happy with my progress. But unfortunately, we're gonna have to release you at this time. So then he promises me he's going to help me get, other stuff, Puerto Rico, maybe Japan. He can help me get over there, this and that, which he never does. I tried to call Johnny A several times, ask him, to see if he could help me out, get me in Puerto Rico and Japan, but he never helped me out.
Wow. He totally changed when he got up there. In WCW, he was so humble. He had the same job. He was working with us. He will do anything to help you out. But once he got up there with Vince McMahon, he's like, he turned his back on all his friends from WCW.
Yeah, he did. Because, I had a lot of dealings with him in WCW. And
so did I.
I thought I was a little, he treated me okay, but he did release me that day. But he didn't say, oh, you suck, good. He put me over before he released me.
But when he used that same kindness to get you up there, though. If it had been someone else called me to say, listen, WCW wants you up here. They don't have a lot of money to pay you right now, but they just want to sign you to a contract. We don't know if we want you to wrestle, or we don't know if we want you on the mic. We don't know yet. But if that had came from somebody else other than a friendly voice, somebody I knew, I would have said, but if you guys don't know that, I don't need to be up there. If you guys can't sign me to a contract, but because it was from Johnny A, someone I trusted, I took a chance, went up there. And let me tell you something, I'm glad I worked with WWE. I'm glad I got to spend some time up there. But it wasn't a very good time up there because, it's like they just brought you in there. Here go a paycheck for a little while. And they didn't develop nothing about me as a character that they wanted to have on a TV show. Yeah.
A lot of people talk about that, the takeover, the WCW and versus WWE, which could have been a great thing, man. They obviously didn't do it the way they needed to do it, but hindsight, this and that, how would other people do it different? But you're right, with the WCW guys, you could tell from day one they didn't want nothing to do with us.
Nothing, man. The guys wouldn't even talk to the WCW guys.
Yeah, when we went to the shows, it was so friggin' weird, Cat. Like, now there were guys that were actually cool with us, but then there were guys that, dude, you couldn't even say hi to. Like Bob Holly, man, that guy was such a dick.
Bob Holly was the hit man up there for those guys.
Yeah, he was such a dick to me, man. Whether he was trying to be or not, it's just the way it was. Now Chris Jericho, cool shit. Always real nice to me. Which, he was in WCW at one point, but I didn't know him in WCW really. But
remember, Bob Holly was the guy that damn near busted open Buff Bagwell's head in the ring. They got in. No. Yeah, Bob Holly beat the crap out of Buff Bagwell in the match.
Yeah, nobody was faulting for that at the time.
They gave him a WWE match, and they said you going against Buff Bagwell.
Yeah,
and he beat Buff, man. He didn't sell nothing. He beat the hell out of him. Then I saw him beat the heck out of a kid down at the school in Kentucky. Yeah. I forgot what school they had. OVW, right?
Well, yeah, in Louisville, yeah.
Yeah, in Louisville, Kentucky. And this guy was trying out, and he didn't sell anything. He just beat the guy up in the ring.
Now, at that time, I think WWE still had a school up in Stanford somewhere. It was by railroad tracks.
No, this one was in Louisville because I was in that school up there for a little while.
That was a freaking shithole too, wasn't it?
Oh, that was terrible, man. I spent about 2-3 weeks up there and came out, man. And that's why I kind of had the connection of contact with Buddy Holly. And let me tell you this, man. That guy was mean. He was mean. I mean, when I said mean, one day in the locker room, me and one of the guys were playing around.
Yeah.
I forgot who it was, but I kept telling him, I said, okay, boy, you're going to make me get up front. You know how we joke around.
Yeah.
And it might have been one of the guys from the power plant that I think it was. Somebody I had known for a while. And Nathan, you know, Buddy Holly, sitting in the corner, looked at me and said, hey, you going to make me come down there and see if all that karate is for real. I hear you know.
Oh, shit.
And I looked at him, I swear, I looked at him and I said, come on down here. Don't let this smile stop you. Don't let it stop you. You better talk to some of these other guys before you try me.
Yeah.
And he gave me the worst look, like he was just, like he wanted to do something, but he know damn well he didn't have a chance against me.
Well, you know what that is? That's that old bully shit, man. He only picks on guys he knows he can do something with.
Yeah, and they test you.
But you know what? I wouldn't let him talk to me like that either, even if he could kick my ass. I wouldn't let him talk to me like that.
Yeah, bro, listen, I looked at it and said, come on down here. You want to find out, you better talk to one of these guys. That'll be easier.
Yeah.
Because I think it was your boy. You said you just talked to him. You just called him.
Columbo or O'Hare?
Yeah, it was O'Hare. No, Columbo.
Chuck Palumbo.
Yeah. Chuck said, Chuck and I were playing around. He looked at them. Chuck, I was like, come on, cat, get up. Let's see if you can see a kick. Bang, bang. And then we were just joking around, just playing around.
Yeah, just like
Buddy took it like he got offended because we had that kind of connection. And he said, I want to come and see if that's karate for real. I told him, come on down here. Yeah. We in the locker room. Come on down here and find out. But don't let this smile fool you now. Right. You know, and then that shed everything now. About another 6 months later, I was released because I hear he was the hit guy that they were sending to the ring to beat up guys.
Yeah, he was. That's what I've heard too. But you remember, I remember in WCW, there was a few instances of that, and I think back in the day it might have been a little worse. But what's that?
Oh.
Well, okay. So for example, I think we were in Arkansas on like Nitro or whatever. Well, we're in the locker room, and I think Bill was in there for some reason because we were listening to this that comedian that he was doing a thing. He called Bill that Roy Mercer. We were listening to this tape of him calling Bill and saying he was going to whoop his ass. Have you ever heard this?
No, I haven't.
So I think we were all kind of listening to that. So we were all in the locker room. Well, Hugh Morris was in there, like Billy Kidman, I remember, and a few other guys. So here comes Rick Steiner. He comes walking in there, and I had my pink Kwee Wee shirt on, right? So he comes walking up to me, poking me in the chest and shit. I wouldn't back down from him, and because I knew better than that. Plus, I'm not going to let someone try to walk over me. If Rick Steiner was going to kick my ass, I was going to get at least one shot in. So he was trying to intimidate me, getting in my face, right? And I really didn't know Rick at this point. So, and he actually takes my shirt, rips it square in half, and then just disregards it. And I look at him, Cat, and you know how I am. Mm-hmm. I got in his face and I went, ooh, you're a real tough guy, ripping my shirt. Ooh, that scared me. And he didn't know what to fucking do. He kind of just froze. He's like, fuck, now I don't know what to do. The guy just said, ooh, you're a tough guy. And so after that, me and him became good buddies. And sometimes Rick still calls me to this day on the phone.
Rick, Scott was the quiet one. Everybody thought Scott was the bad one.
Oh, yeah, Rick
Steiner was the quiet one. He didn't bother anybody. He was always funny and joking. He was just crazy in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Rick in the ring was the quiet one. He didn't say much. He just barked around like, but he was the bully in the back in the locker room. Listen. Rick Steiner bullied everybody in the locker room.
Back in the day, right? That's what I heard.
Back in the day, he did. But listen here, my man, Allan Funk, man, listen, I really appreciate you coming on, man. I mean, you know what, man? No one it might not be in it, but one or two people see this. And I'm just saying, of course, it's going to be more. Yeah. But listen, this really meant something to me because it's just me having a conversation with somebody I worked with. And WCW, Allan Funk, I got a lot of respect for you now, just like I had a lot of respect for you back then. And I appreciate you now, especially even more for coming on and giving us a little insight into your story in your life. And I really appreciate you coming on the Cat's Corner.
Yeah, Cat, thanks for having me, bro. Appreciate it. I always got mad love for you, Cat, respect, and thanks for always being a good dude to me, man.
Hey, bro, if there's ever anything we can do for you here, you got my phone number. Keep it. Call me, let me know, and I'm going to let you know when we put this out. The great Allan Funk. Do you want an Allan Funk, Kwee Wee? Who do you want? Who do you want? That?
You know what? You can put it at. You can put it as Kwee Wee Allan Funk, but make sure you spell both of them right, would you?
Kwee Wee. Kwee-W-E-E.
Yeah, my name, and Allan is Allan. Everybody spells my name wrong. Get that shit right, would you?
Hey, bro, I'm going to do that for you. I'm not going. Hey, you ever talk to Sarge anymore?
Yeah, I talk to him every now and then.
Oh, no, wait a minute. I can't let you go. It's good. I forgot to ask you about this. What the hell going on with you and Buff Bagwell?
Okay, so I was wondering if you were even going to bring this up.
I mean, I wasn't going to bring it up because both of you guys are people I know.
Yeah.
And it's some heat there because he got heat with you the same way you got with him.
Okay, so there used to be heat. Let me just keep it simple for you. There used to be heat between us. We've hashed it out. Now we're buddies. We had an incident, a year or two ago. That since then his mom passed away. I sent him a text telling him I'm sorry his mom died. He apologized to me. I apologized to him. We're cool now. So there's no issues between me and Marcus Bagwell anymore, man.
Man, but y'all was about to fight. Y'all was gonna go at it. Y'all was they had to separate you.
Well, yeah, and that's true, but a lot of stuff led up to that, and I really don't want to rehash it because I don't want Marcus to take it the wrong way. Because
if Mark gonna take it, he gonna take it the way he. See, Mark and I had a little heat too.
Yeah. Well, honestly, who hasn't Marcus Bagwell had heat with?
I put these hands on them though when I had heat with them. See, y'all was just talking.
Well, here's the thing is, at the time, Cat, it would have been embarrassing to even fight him. He wasn't in good. It really wasn't.
I know.
He wasn't in good shape, and it'd been like taking, a chocolate bar from a kid. You know what I'm saying?
And this is what's so fun about Marcus Bagwell. He can be one of the nicest, sweetest guys you ever wanted to meet.
Yeah.
Then next thing you know, he can be a complete jackass.
But I will, in his defense, man, I will tell you this. That was when he was on gimmicks a lot and drinking a lot. Now, the last few times that I've seen him, since he's been sober, I think he's been sober 2 years now. He's changed a lot. He's a different person. I do believe that.
Well, listen here. I hope he is, man, and I hope you guys can continue to get along. And if you guys ever get into it, call me. Let me bring my video camera to that corner. And
you'll be the first one I call when something goes down.
Hey, brother, listen. Thanks for coming on Cat's Corner. And let me tell you, people, Allan Funk, man, he one of the best, most talented young wrestler in the business, man. This is for real. I'm not just saying this because he online right now. I'm telling you, he was one of the best guys to work with, in the ring and outside. And I'm glad I got to work with you in WCW, brother.
Thanks, Cat. Me too, man.
All right. Well, you have a good day, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Cat. Appreciate it, buddy.